Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are tracking storms across the West Coast today. So we're talking about the Rockies to the West Coast. That's where our next chance for storms are. And yes, we're talking about that next chance for hail, finally, right? It's been about a week since we've been able to use the hail map because it's been such a low risk for severe storms. Taking you out to the tropics now, we've got two areas to watch for developing a potential tropical cyclone. One area is not very promising. The other one looks pretty good as we head into next week. And the heat, are you enjoying this nice warm weather? It doesn't feel like October, but I'm enjoying the 80s and 90s. I hope that you are as well. It doesn't matter. It's going to be hot all the way through the weekend, so I hope that you enjoy it because we can't really control it, right? Alrighty, let's take a look at your storm restoration masterclass. October 6th, so on Monday, Derek Klein, our CEO, is speaking at RoofCon. If you have not gotten your tickets yet, HailTrace will be there. We're going to have a video out there. Our new meteorologist, who you are going to meet here in just a few minutes, Michaela, will also be out at RoofCon. We've got a 40% off code for you. Use the code HailTrace at checkout. And are you headed to the game this weekend? OU plays Kent State this weekend at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Here's how you can go for free. You can get 2 tickets, a parking pass, and Champions Tailgate access if you review our app on the Google Play Store or the App Store. Give us 5 stars, rate and review the app, screenshot that, DM that to us, and we will enter you into that contest. A lot of fun there. Alrighty, let's take a look at yesterday's storm reports. Not a ton going on yesterday. I promise we'll have a busier day today. We saw some wind across the western side of the U.S. We also saw a few wind reports across the southern side of the U.S. We actually had a severe thunderstorm warning just outside of New Orleans yesterday. We're going to continue on this trend where mainly our activity is going to stay in the southeast and across the west. You can see how busy our mountainous regions are for today. You can also see that we've got some showers and storms ongoing just to the south of Louisiana. So that will be our trend for today. Temperatures, once again, still pretty warm. If we look at the middle of the U.S., we're going to stay dry for the next few days, but we'll talk at the very end of this forecast about how we're going to see a lot more activity next week. Let's talk about that hail forecast today. We've got hail, especially on the western side of Colorado, all the way up into places like Wyoming and even Utah this afternoon. We do officially have a hail forecast for you today. We haven't gotten to use this forecast over the last few days because it's been so quiet. What's your max hail size this afternoon? I went with ping pong ball size hail. You know, these storms, especially these warm pop-up storms, could absolutely surprise you. So while most of the hail reports that we'll get will probably be quarter, maybe even nickel-sized hail, I think that we could get a few that go all the way to ping pong ball size hail. And while that may not seem very large, it's the most that we've gotten in the last week. So hey, we'll take it, right? Let's see, where will we see that at? Here highlighted in yellow, or where we could see most of the hail falling today. We're talking about the western side of Colorado, the southern side of Idaho. We've got Utah included in here as well. Let's get some cities on the board here. It's a low risk, but it's absolutely possible to see some of these cities hit with hail today. Grand Junction at that level 1 risk, Salt Lake City on the board as well, and we've got Jackson, Wyoming. Alrighty, let's move on here to your wind forecast as well. Okay, so we've got Grand Junction, Colorado on here, Salt Lake City, we've got Jackson, Wyoming. It's also a level 1 risk for some isolated wind gusts. I don't think that we're going to see anything widespread here, but we could absolutely see those 50, 60, maybe even 65 mile per hour wind gusts today. Some of these mountainous storms will absolutely surprise you, so you have to keep an eye on your weather alerts today. Some of these could pulse up to be strong enough for a severe thunderstorm warning. We're going to call these pulsating storms, which basically means that they're going to strengthen, they'll weaken, they'll strengthen again, they'll weaken, and they'll kind of go through this pulsating motion throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Alrighty, let's move on here. No tornado risk today, or a very, very low tornado risk today. Let's talk about timeline. So what we're watching for is a line of storms that stretches anywhere from Montana all the way down into Nevada. This line of storms will continue to track to the east, but what we're really watching for are these storms that are developing in front of that line. So you can see that right here as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Let's zoom down. Yeah, let's get all the way into these states. Let's get some cities on the board here. Here's Salt Lake City, there's Wyoming, there's the western side of Colorado. Let's see this one more time. So by this afternoon and evening, again, I'm not too worried about this line of storms back here. I'm more worried about these storms that are out in front of that line. So these are going to be your pop-up storms. We're looking for some isolated storms there, a little bit more scattered and widespread as we head down into Colorado, maybe a little bit more isolated back into Wyoming and into Utah. Let's move on. Let's talk about some other places across the country. Where are you guys watching from today? Are you watching from where we have that marginal risk, that level 1 risk highlighted in green right there? A few other places could get some storms as well. We're talking about St. Louis. I'm not worried about severe weather in St. Louis, but a few of these storms could cause maybe some lightning, maybe a rumble of thunder out there as we head into the evening hours. Maybe as you're eating dinner, you start to see those storms and lightning in the distance. That's absolutely possible. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to continue to see some ongoing convection just outside of New Orleans, just to the south of Louisiana. Actually, a good portion of the southeast, right along the Gulf Coast, we'll see that convection over the next few days. Not just today, but the next few days. That could cause some flooding issues just because it's going to stay so wet in this area. It's going to be on and off rain just over and over and over. Speaking of the Gulf and the Atlantic, let's go ahead and talk about our tropical risk. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Oh, you guys want to talk about Saturday? Let's talk about Saturday real quick before we get to the Atlantic. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, the northern side of Colorado, yes, Denver also included in that marginal risk, and the eastern side of Wyoming, all included in the hail risk for tomorrow. So could it be a busy Saturday? These storms will surprise you as they're coming over the mountains. As we get that orographical lift, what we're going to see here is we're going to see a really good chance for hail and wind. Your tornado risk, very low. Hail and wind is what we're watching for on Saturday. Sunday, very, very low risk for storms as of now. Now let's go out to the Atlantic. We have two areas that we're keeping an eye on here. That first area, most likely not going to see a ton of activity over the next 2 days. Actually, we'll probably be talking about this whenever I see you again on Monday and Tuesday of next week. We have an increased risk here, a 40% risk for some sort of tropical cyclone activity right in the middle of the Atlantic, in a very similar spot to where several other hurricanes so far this year have already formed. Then if we go closer to Florida, we have another risk for tropical cyclone activity, but it's a very, very low risk. Over the next 2 days, we've got a 10% risk for storms here, and then over the next 5 to 7 days, also a 10% risk. So it's pretty low risk in this area. Basically, what the National Hurricane Center is highlighting here is they're saying it's going to stay rainy. We've got a lot of convection in this area, as we were talking about earlier, not just in this area highlighted here in yellow, but also across southern Louisiana. And then we've got all of that rain that's going to stick around in Florida as well. Speaking of your hurricane forecast, I know I show this quite often, but I do want to remind you that we still have some time left in our hurricane season. It's felt quiet this year, absolutely, but we do on average have about 14 named storms. HailTrace forecasted about 14, maybe a bit above average for this time of the year. Let's see your tropical climatology. We still have like a full another month of tropical activity likely as well. So October still stays pretty busy, at least for the first 2 weeks of October. And then we, on average, will start to taper off in those numbers as we head into the end of October and early November. Taking a look at your tropical names so far this year, tropical cyclones, we've got Andrea, Barry, Chantal, Dexter, Aaron. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 storms already. 14 is the average, so we're still below average for this season, but we'll see if we can catch up as we head into the rest of October. So there's Imelda. It's a messy, disorganized cluster of showers right now. Really nothing to talk about from this low pressure system. Imelda is no more. Our attention turns back to the Gulf and the East Coast, where we just have ongoing showers and storms, ongoing rain in this area, causing some flooding issues on the east side of Florida. But I think a lot of people are probably in the middle of the U.S., asking, when are we finally going to get out of this hot and dry weather? Well, I think conditions will begin to change a little early next week. You can see that we've got some rain moving in to places like Minneapolis, all the way into Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas by Sunday. By Monday, we could even get some rain into Oklahoma. You can see that line of showers and storms and a little bit of rain in this area as we head into Tuesday as this system continues to push across the East Coast. By Wednesday, we dry up a little bit more, other than just a little bit of convection that you can see trying to form. It's still too early to say if this will go severe or not. However, it does give me a little bit of hope with this warm weather and a little bit of moisture. I think that we could see some severe weather. And again, it's warm. We've been talking about, we started the forecast saying it doesn't feel like October, right? That's going to stay the same all the way through the weekend. So we're going to stay with temperatures above average for this time of the year all the way through the weekend. Not just today, temperatures are likely to go 15 to maybe 20 degrees above average through Saturday and Sunday. It's going to stay warm. You know, I told you actually a few days ago that we will most likely not break any records for temperatures here. I am going to take that back now. A few of us are nearing those record-breaking numbers. Now, we're not talking about triple digits. It's October, remember. We're talking about 80s and 90s, so we still may break some records for, again, this time of the year. There you go. So how long is this going to last? Well, we have a really good chance for this to last a good portion of October. So we're looking at October 8th all the way through the 12th now, almost the middle of October, and we still have a good chance for temperatures to stay warmer than normal. What about that moisture? So we need warm temperatures and we need moisture for storms, right? It's going to be spotty. We may have some drought moving back into the central portion of the U.S. just because of the lack of rain in this area. And hey, I have a fun announcement to make. HailTrace is excited to welcome our newest meteorologist to the team. Michaela Smith is going to be our digital meteorologist. Alongside myself, she'll be helping with the forecasts starting next week. So you're going to see her at RoofCon next week. We're so excited to welcome her to the team. I actually got to sit down with her and chat about some of her favorite things about weather, some of her favorite things to do outside of weather. You guys enjoy this video and meet Michaela. Let's welcome Michaela to the HailTrace weather team. Michaela, we are so glad that you're here.
So happy to be here.
A lot of people are going to see you on the green screen over the next few weeks. You'll start to make your introduction. You're going to be at RoofCon next Monday, so if you haven't gotten your tickets, make sure that you get those now. But we want to learn a little bit about you. So tell us about your path to come to HailTrace.
Yeah, so I grew up in like the North Texas, Dallas area, so still Tornado Alley, and just kind of had a fascination with storms, and that led me to go to OU. So I got my Bachelor's of Science in Meteorology, and then I have double minors in both broadcast and math. So lots of math classes to get a meteorology degree. You know all about that. It's just the same thing that I do. And then while I was kind of finishing up college, I spent some time down in Sherman, Texas. So I was doing Texoma weather, so North Texas and kind of southern parts of Oklahoma. So I'm, not unaware of how things change very quickly here in Oklahoma. And I did that still while I was in college. And then I spent the last 3.5, 4 years up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I worked at Fox 23 up in Tulsa. So was there for the last several years, and now here I am back in Oklahoma City area here at HailTrace, and I am very happy to be here.
And we are so happy to have you here. You also have a great background in severe weather. I grew up forecasting Oklahoma storms, went to Kansas for a little bit, so we have a powerful expertise on the plains weather here. I'm excited for you to see different areas of the country, the Midwest weather, Southeast weather. I think that you're really going to enjoy forecasting.
I'm going to really enjoy forecasting. I love forecasting Oklahoma stuff, and it's nice too with like our expertise between the two of us, because you worked in Oklahoma City, me working in Tulsa. Like timing's a little bit different in storms, and like the type of storms, you get more supercell type things here in central Oklahoma. We get more of like the QLCS type in eastern Oklahoma.
The nighttime
storms. So it'll be fun, like between the two of us being able to do that. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about blizzards and things, in the Pacific Northwest, hurricanes, so many cool things that we don't really get to talk about in Oklahoma because we don't have those opportunities. I'm really happy I get to talk about it now.
I think that you're going to love it. Okay, so we talk about forecasting storms, but have you been in storms? Tell us about a crazy either storm chasing experience or a storm that you were actually caught in.
Yeah. Yeah, so a couple years ago, it was the Father's Day storm of 2023 up in Tulsa. I don't know if you read about it, but we had 100-mile-per-hour winds that like moved across the city and into parts of Broken Arrow. And so I was trying to get ready to go into work because it was like a weird timing. It was like right at midnight. My shift started at 2 a.m. So
again with those overnight storms.
Overnight storms, very common in eastern Oklahoma. So I like woke up because my husband came into my room and I heard him like messing around, and I sat up in bed because I was supposed to be sleeping. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, they said that we're going to probably lose power. I should charge my phone." And I'm like, "Okay, it's midnight. No one should be on the TV talking about the weather. Something's wrong." And so I tried to quickly start getting ready, and sure enough, it hit before I was even able to get into work. So I got to hear the winds ripping off the roof of my house. I ended up having 6 tarps on my roof. You could hear stuff on our attic like shifting over. It's pretty crazy. My husband and I were kind of looking at each other and we're like, "Oh, this is nuts." You know, we had our bike helmets on. We were trying to get our dogs into our safe space, but it wasn't a tornado. But you know, when you have winds that are 100-mile-per-hour, it's like being in an EF1 tornado.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild.
Yeah, not a tornado, straight line winds,
Yes.
Nocturnal, one of the most dangerous times that you could get an event like that. That is, I think, surprised a lot of people.
And just again, because it was overnight, but because it's such a huge swath of the city too. I mean, South Tulsa into Broken Arrow, it wasn't like a tornado. You know, those are very damaging, but it's kind of narrower paths sometimes, or even if they're wider tornadoes, it's not widespread. We were talking about widespread damage from western Tulsa all the way across to the east side of the city, down power lines, trees. I mean, it was a mess, and a lot of people didn't have power for over a week. I know I had coworkers that didn't have power for over a week. Luckily, ours was only out for 2 days, but we still had to come down to Oklahoma City because it was pretty nuts.
And just a reminder for people, that was during June, so no power in June. It's really
It starts
hot.
to get hot.
Okay, so when you're not forecasting weather, what are you doing? What does your off time look like?
I love to read. I'm a really big reader. Taylor and I've kind of talked a little bit on the side that I read between about 150 to 200 books a year, which I know seems crazy.
That is a lot of books.
I just really enjoy, especially like a good audiobook. I like to listen to it when I'm getting ready in the morning, driving into work. And it's just, you know, something, I don't know, it's peaceful. I don't do the podcast other stuff. I mean, I like them. If there's like a really good one, then I'll stop and, you know, listen to it. Like when Taylor Swift went on New Heights, I was all about that.
Absolutely.
I was ready to go. But I just like listening to, you know, good book, especially when you get a good narrator. I also make sourdough, so I like making sourdough, you know, cookies and bread loaves and figuring out different things I can do. I made Cheez-Its for the Super Bowl last year, and those were like a huge hit. Like I didn't think many people would actually be into that, and they were like gone by the end of the night. So
that's Cheez-It.
Yeah, like a nice big sourdough
yes.
Cheez-It. It was actually really fun and super easy to make. I'll have to make you some. But yeah, just do that, hang out with my husband. We walk our dogs. We have 2 dogs, a Shiba Inu and a mini Australian Shepherd. Her name is Nimbus, so she's named after a cumulonimbus cloud, so
Naturally.
storm cloud.
Everything's weather related.
Always.
Well, we'll have to hit you up for the potlucks. You're going to be a favorite around here.
I like to cook. I like to bake, so I have no problem with that.
If you need any weather forecast, obviously go to Michaela, but book recommendations, new recipes, Michaela's your girl as well. Well, we are so glad that you're part of the HailTrace team now. You guys will, of course, see Michaela on the green screen over the next few weeks and in the coming months as we prepare for severe weather season.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
And we are so glad to have Michaela on the team. We have had a lot of fun welcoming her to the team over the last few days. Of course, you will see more of Michaela over the next week or two as she is on the green screen. She's going to be out in the field at RoofCon on Monday. So go say hi to her and welcome her to the HailTrace team. Thanks for joining us today on this Friday afternoon for your special forecast. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. We'll see you here on Monday. But in the meantime, we will be posting a lot more because there's not just one, but 2 of us now posting on social media. So you're going to get double the content. Follow us on all of these social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And give us a call if you're interested in a hail, wind, or tornado map at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or head over to our website, hailtrace.com. All of those storms that we see today and through the weekend will be mapped at hailtrace.com. So thanks for joining us today.